Mr. Producer, I sent you some articles for the site on, what do they call it now when they're going after Jews, particularly rabbis? Kick the Jew, something like that, or beat the Jew. Can you find that link for me? I know you sent it to me. I sent it to you, and you sent it back to me. I haven't heard a damn thing about this on television or on radio. There are these news, what is it called? Knock out the Jew, where these black gangs are looking for people who they think look Jewish or rabbis, particularly Orthodox, and just cold-cocking them, and in some cases leaving the swastika and so forth. I'm thinking to myself, with all the quote-unquote sensitivity that's out there, even the perceived slights that are out there, groups that are formed to collect perceived slights, where the hell is everybody on this? Nowhere. Nowhere. A couple of news reports and that's it. Not on any network news to my knowledge, not on any Sunday show to my knowledge. Well, what's going on here? Why isn't this getting any attention? And then I'm reading other people are being hit like this, that this thing is spreading from city to city. And I'm reading it here and there, it's kind of sparse, the reporting on it, but nothing national, daily. You know how the national media get when they're on something. It's, day in and day out, George Zimmerman, day in and day out. It just never ends. But what about this epidemic? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, other than these sporadic reports. That's why what is news in this country? What is news in this country? Who decides what's news? Well, whoever decides what news is, they're doing a pretty crappy job, aren't they? Anyway, so I wanted to mention that, too, because I'm reading this. I'm going, this ought to be receiving a hell of a lot more attention. Knock out the Jew. What does that remind you of? What does that sound like? This knockout game. And if you're watching cable news, you're seeing a loop of the same videos over and over and over again. They're very painful to watch. But apparently it gets good ratings. But this is a very serious matter. The knockout game. Jews are being targeted. Whites are being targeted. All kinds of people are being targeted. But it appears to be race-related. I'm just telling you the truth. We've heard nothing from the President of the United States, who likes to talk about these topics, I thought. We've heard nothing from the Attorney General of the United States. We've heard nothing from Jesse Jackson. We've heard nothing from Al Sharpton. We've heard nothing from Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi. Nothing. These are hate crimes, and they're vicious, and they're innocent people who are being cold-cocked. And when you fall down and you're already unconscious before you hit the pavement, you can have brain damage, neck damage. This is really horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Then I saw this story, WILX10, and it gave me a little bit of hope, quite frankly, and I wanted to share it with you. It's by Alyssa Fensk, and it starts with, he shoved something into my side. I wasn't sure what it was. It had some force to it. I wasn't sure if it was a knife or a gun. It's a game called Point 'em Out, Knock 'em Out, and it's made its way to Lansing, Michigan, and it's exactly how it sounds. The game consists of someone being randomly targeted, then attacked. Boy, what a sick culture we've got now. Just absolutely pathetic. It's a game that's been growing with popularity on the Internet, with teenagers filming themselves punching unsuspecting victims. Lansing had its first case of the game brought to light this summer, but it's possible it's been happening under the radar for months. On February 26th, a man waiting for his 6-year-old daughter to be dropped off from school had no idea he would be the city's first reported victim. I saw the van circled twice, and the second time, three came out, meaning 3 people. I didn't suspect anything. I hadn't any enemies or any reason to believe they'd be looking to do anything to me. The victim was attacked by 17-year-old Marvell Weaver. But Weaver did more than try to knock him out. He tried to do it with a taser. Luckily for the victim, the taser didn't work, and he was able to protect himself with his concealed carry .40 caliber pistol. He shoved something into my side. I wasn't sure what it was. Weaver was shot twice, in the leg and an inch away from his spine. He's been sentenced to a year in jail for the attack, but he admits he's getting off easy. It was just a lesson learned. I wish I hadn't played the game at all, said Weaver. Gee, you think, genius? But Weaver says this wasn't the first time he'd played it. Before he was caught, he and his friends had attacked random people on several occasions. Not many, 6 or 7. It wouldn't be an everyday game, just a certain game to be played on certain days. You don't even try to rob them or anything. That's the game, said Weaver. That's the game, you see. We call this barbaric, inhumane. Weaver said it's not gang-related, but of course in many ways and places it is gang-related. Teens are playing it because they're bored. Plus they've been seeing others do it and getting away with it on the Internet. So we should keep playing it on cable endlessly, I guess. Says he used to play it because he was usually dared, while high and with a bad group of friends. But not a gang, of course, just a group. They weren't my normal group of friends. Someone just throws it out there and people go along with it. One thing leads to another and it just goes all downhill, said Weaver. Weaver said they'd like to target crowds because it would be easier for them to get away. It could be played during the day or night, and it didn't matter who the victim was, man or woman, old or young. Anyone could be a potential target. He had no idea playing it would one day almost cost him his life and land him in jail. There's a price to pay if they wind up doing it. A good example is Marvell Weaver, said Officer Robert Merritt with Lansing PD. There's a price to pay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're carrying legally protection. And by protection, I don't mean what you liberals are thinking, free contraceptives. I mean protection, so you can defend yourself. You know, from this game. Just a game where you're hit unconscious. You don't even know what's coming. And you fall and your head hits the cement. You know, that's a game. So the lesson here is, for at least me and other people, is get a carry permit in those states where you're allowed to have a carry permit. Nobody's allowed to punch you in the face in order to knock you out. That's not a game. It's not funny. It's a felony. And you don't have to put up with it. That's my public service announcement for the night, Mr. Producer.